Okay, yeah, I had actually put this together for you because I even knew this was going to be a big shock for you, and I wanted to go over everything. But then also, like with the previous job, there was a couple things here and there that like I gave you a quote up front, but then as I was working, I'd be like, we need to add this, or I've also seen this. I don't mind doing that on smaller jobs, like with the turbo and the valve cover, but really big jobs like this, I don't. You're putting in a whole lot of money. When you're already doing that, I don't want to have to call later and be like, hey man, I forgot this, forgot this. So I try to make sure I covered every little detail and overquoted. So yeah, that's another thing too. Is there's a little bit of overquote, which I'll go on that. But now, also, I'll show you just for one. Like here was the issue with the scam. Let me get this to yeah. So this is a head. This is the one that was advertising that thing. You see these holes. This is where the cams would go, and those holes below would be where valves are, is what they push on. Now the cams aren't so important. I could take the ones that are out of your engine and reuse those. That wouldn't be an issue. But the fact that there's not valves underneath them, those have to be professionally set in the head by a machine shop, or have to be already there. Now, like with the remanufactured one from AutoZone, comes with that already done. Even comes with brand new cams, so you would get brand new cams in that case, brand new valves, brand new everything. So I called, asked the guy, are these is this just a basic image, or are these parts actually not there? It's when he confirms that it's completely stripped bare head, there's nothing in it. And so that's when I explained to him, I mean a head that's already complete, that I'd be okay without the cams, but I would need the valves. He didn't listen to any of that. He just immediately tried to sell me on the cams, the valves, lifters, everything. Takes me all them parts, another 100 with it. And then says I need to take it to machine shop. And I'm like, well, is it not already set? He's like, no, it need to be machined to make sure it can set down, to get the valves and everything set up. That's when I just kind of cut the conversation off and said I was done. I went researching more, and the more honest ads, the best I could find was like a used one for $779 plus like 25 shipping. That's about $800, and that's a used one. Now the one at AutoZone is completely remanufactured, which is essentially brand new and covered in a brand new guarantee, and also comes with the brand new cams and everything. See, the cams are actually in there now, and there's little valves with the spring things on them underneath it. Everything's in there like it should be, 100%. So the whole thing's set up just right, just ready to slap on. I don't have to go to machine shop, if I had any parts, none of the BS. And that's $851.99. So that's why I decided to go this way. $800 for used. Not 100% sure of what condition it's in, versus $851, absolutely brand new, mint, guaranteed. I think anybody wouldn't go with the 851 in that case. But that's where the about a $450 difference is. But then also before, that head was just advertised $395. I don't know shipping. I don't know any of that. So I didn't really add that into estimate. Whereas with this, since it's at a store, there is no shipping. I can figure up tax, so I actually already added tax in. So even tax is added in on that $851.99 for you. As then for what I forgot about timing, which is what the cams are on. There's a chain that runs way down to the crank. But now the crank is in the block. So since they're connected by a chain on the whole system, and the one in yours is a lot, whereas this is a basic view, the one in yours is a lot more complex, a lot more trickier to put together. I can send you a timing video from an engine very similar to yours. Yours will be almost just like that as far as doing the timing. I can reuse the chain, all that, but the tensioner in this picture, it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of down over here. It's what presses and holds this chain tight so it can't come loose, which would make the engine not run and even break it if that were to fail. You can't reuse those. I had to buy one of those, about 40 bucks. I'd forgotten head bolts, which you can't reuse. You have to buy them. I want to say that was around that same, about another 40. And then there was about another 200 or so in for the labor. So that's where those extra costs got in. The timing was on me, so that's where I missed some money there. Forgetting the head bolts was on me. And then that about 400 plus the tax on the 851 was the difference in that head issue. So that's what was missed. I had missed those things. And then just to explain a little more, whereas what you were confused on, no, me taking off the valve cover, I couldn't just then take off the head. I have to take off everything that's attached to the head before I can even touch it. Oh, that was the... Oh, well, actually, I can use that, because now I can use these pictures. Like I said, this is the exhaust manifold side. I got to take the whole exhaust manifold off, Water pumps around here. I took the whole water pump, thermostat, all that stuff off. Other side of the motor. It looks... Okay, hold on. Which one? Oh, never mind. I had the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is the exhaust manifold side. This is the intake manifold side off. These holes underneath are injectors. Got to take your fuel injectors out. The high pressure fuel pumps up front. Like, I have to pretty much strip your engine almost completely bare before I take this guy off. So it is a huge process. Like, it's not something that I just like cheated on or skipped like a 5-minute job. It's going to take a while. Even if I would have done it when it was already apart before, it would have still taken a while. In fact, all that work I did on the turbo, I won't have to do that now. I'll just have to take it off where it's just hooked to the exhaust manifold, which won't take very long. But chances are, I can't say for sure on Gateways, but like 99 times out of 100, they don't sell you a whole motor. They usually just sell you the main parts, the head, the block, that kind of stuff, and reuse your other parts, your intake manifold or exhaust manifold, which means they likely reused your turbo. Once they had taken it off and it was cracked, then they would have called you and been like, hey, we need another $800. You got to use a different turbo. Yours is no good. So even they probably would have thrown some extra charges at you, because rarely ever does anybody say the whole engine, because they just expect you to reuse your own stuff. My Hyundai was bought brand new, full warranty. The old engine, the original engine, it just failed completely. I had to replace under warranty, but then I can even tell, even Hyundai, like even under warranty, brand new car warranty, when the engine failed and they went to replace the engine, they just replaced the block and the head. They put my old valve cover, my old coils, all the old stuff from my engine, all on top of it. I can tell because that same old dust and dirt from the original is still there. So they just essentially take the core, which is the head and the block and stuff like that, drop that in, put all your other parts on. So they would have been calling you with a few more repairs here and there as they took other parts off and saw they were failed as well. But anyway, that was the thing about the whole explanation. There was probably about a little over 100 something that was forgotten in parts by me, and there was a couple hundred in labor from that timing forgotten by me. But the really big one, about $400 plus than the tax I figured in for the head from AutoZone, was because of that scam head that I first originally saw online. But yeah, again, the 2100 is an overestimate. So unlike with the turbo and valve cover job, you're not going to get a call in the middle that, hey man, I forgot a part. I made sure to spend the entire weekend and be like, cover every little detail, go over the timing, go over every little thing I've got to take off, change what I can and can't use from the head. So this time you do have a full job from the ground up. This, other than the block, you'll be getting everything the same as what you would have gotten if you'd have gotten your engine replaced. Plus, the fact that you also got to add a new turbo on top before, that likely would not have come with the replacement engine at Gateway.